welcome to Soap Secrets. We are going to be talking all things Holby and Casualty today. So, Victoria Wilson, you join me again. Thank you very much.
Hi, Hannah.
Now, who would have seen the surprise return last week?
Yes, indeed. Everyone at Holby was on drum roll. Yeah, everyone at Holby was on tenterhooks, waiting to find out who this new improvement director was. It was that last scene in that episode before where it was just an empty chair, and it was like, who was going to sit in it? And there were shocks aplenty as feisty, flame-haired surgeon Jack Naylor returned to Holby. Yes, folks, Jack is back.
Is back.
Yes. It was nice to see her. You saw the heels first of all, and you were like, yeah, I know who wears those kind of shoes. So it will have been great for fans. So the obviously the long-time Holby favourite turned up alongside two new faces: consultant Eli Ibrahimi, played by ex-EastEnders star Davood Godami, and nurse Madge Britton, played by Claire Burt. So this week, Jack's back. She's firing on all cylinders. She's reminding everyone that she means business. While Eli is kind of trying to make his mark at the hospital by pushing ahead with his pioneering. He's got like a pioneering stent trial that he's working on. But he sort of hits a snag this week when his patient Mohammed is unable to continue with the treatment. So it sort of looks like the trial could be over before it's begun. So Jack's reputation, it's all about reputation with Jack, and she's sort of reliant on this trial sort of being a success, and she kind of convinces Max McGarry, who obviously she was CEO, but she's predominantly a neurosurgeon, that by sort of they can work together and phase 2 of the trial can begin imminently with Dom's mum, Carol, who was, as we know, she was sort of recently diagnosed with dementia, having her as their new patient. So that's obviously a bit of a side story going on there. There's just one snag though. Jack hasn't really discussed this plan with Eli, who's in charge of the trial. So when he sort of ends up finding out secondhand from Max, and it's safe to say he's not happy. It definitely looks like there's going to be fireworks between these two, Jack and Eli. They have a kind of interesting relationship. He seems to struggle a bit with authority, and Jack is authority, so we can't sort of wait to see what's going on there.
Fireworks. I like a bit of fireworks on the ward.
Well, I have to say as well, I mean, and I know I sort of speak for Holby fans, but I imagine I speak for a lot of Holby fans, that it is amazing to see the wonderful Rosie Marcel back as Jack. She really is. She is Mrs. Holby City, and it just really wasn't the same without her. I know I sort of have some information on sort of what's to come, and over the coming weeks we'll find out a bit more about what's really brought her back to the hospital.
Love it. Now, something else goes on this week, doesn't it? Something pretty big. Lucky.
Yeah. Well, so we see Lucky come back. Everyone will remember she was obviously devastated following the death of beloved surgeon Kian Madani from a drug overdose a few weeks back. And she left. She needed to sort of give herself time to grieve. Anyway, she comes back this week, and she's the first we see her. She's sort of handing her resignation to Hanson. But she reluctantly, he's like, oh, we've got no cover. You're kind of leaving me in the lurch. So she agrees to see the day out while he sort of finds cover for her. And as she sort of manages, she's sort of her sort of story, if you like. She's helping Eli's patient, and he's sort of, as the story goes, he's sort of in a grip of a panic attack, and she sort of gently brings him round. He's obviously got a lot more issues, but she sort of gently brings him round, and it kind of reminds her just how much she loves her job. So the question is, will Hanson be able to persuade her to stay? There's an interesting sort of thing that happens towards the end of the episode where he's talking to Hanson is talking to Lucky and Director of Funding Jenny Sinclair, and it's almost like the three of them are they're seeing the changes that are happening at the hospital under Jack, and it's almost like, we need to maybe put a stop to this. So it's almost like they're the three amigos who are going to challenge Jack in the coming episodes. So that's going to be another storyline that becomes quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we might see Lucky stay after all.
Yeah, she's a really good character, actually. Her storyline does get quite, in terms of her personal journey that she does go on. Yeah, it's no secret. She does stay on, and things will get interesting for her, I think. So watch this space.
Okay, and Kylie, she's very sweet on Louis, as we know.
Yeah,
but has she lost him?
Well, she's just very sweet generally. We like Kylie. I think she's become quite a sweet character. She's a good nurse. She's got a good heart, and she's dealing with some sort of pretty big matters of the heart, I suppose you'd say, this week. Primarily, she's leading the care of terminally ill patient Delroy, who's been at the hospital for a few weeks now, and they've grown quite close. It's quite nice actually when they do that. They bring a patient in, and then, rather than just like the patient of the day, he's been there for a few weeks. The viewers have really got to know him. She's grown close to him, not least because he's been giving her sort of advice in the love stakes, even though he's sort of, he's on his deathbed, as it were. He's a worldly wise man, and he's been kind of giving Kylie advice as she's become quite smitten with Louis, as you say. She's devastated when Delroy does take a turn for the worse, but she sort of really, she's a spiky little thing, and she really wants to do something that she knows he'll be proud of. So, armed with his advice, she goes off to tell Louis just how she feels about him. But has Louis already moved on?
Oh no! This always happens, doesn't it?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. They're sort of so sweet together, but I think
of true love never runs easily. So maybe it's a little bumpy ride until they end up together.
Exactly. So we're going to see more from her, definitely. So this is another one that's sort of starting to build now. Another story.
I like all these storylines bubbling around the side. It sort of then hits a big crescendo. No, it's really good.
There's always a lot going on in Holby, and there's definitely more to come.
There is. Thank you, Victoria. Now,
no problem.
Moving over to another hospital ward, Casualty. Claire is joining me. Claire Ruck. Hi, Claire.
Hi, Hannah.
Now, last week's episode was really quite something, wasn't it?
It was.
I mean, it was shocking, really. And this week is a two-parter. Hurrah!
Yes. I know. So last week, I didn't want to spoil the surprise, but right at the end, we see Jacob and Tina have this massive confrontation, and she's very violent towards him, and she throws this heavy object at him and actually cuts him and injures him. So that was I was quite shocked. We saw a very different side to Tina, an absolutely different side. So that was so yes. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I know Charles Venn, who played Jacob, was amazingly proud of it. So that was really nice. Now this week is a two-parter. Now for you and me, Hannah, we consider, and all the fans, we consider Casualty to be an ongoing medical drama. It doesn't stop. But the BBC, in their wisdom, they consider it run in series. So this is the end of the series. Then we have a 1 week break before we start the new series with a Casualty 35-year anniversry special,
that
which will be
absurd.
I know.
Because you just imagine you're part of this drama and it's just running, it's obviously not real, but we think it's real, Yeah, that's strange.
I know. It just runs all year, apart from, obviously the football knocked it off, but that was special. Eurovision knocks it off, but then in August it always has a 1 week break, and that is from one series to the next. But I always say to my staff, the viewers don't view it that way. They just think it's had a week's break and it's still continuing.
Yeah.
So this week we do see a two-parter, and wow, it is. You have really got to watch it. You must not miss it.
You won't be disappointed with this one.
No, you won't. So it's Ethan and Fenisha's wedding. So we remember about 3 weeks ago that Fenisha, she did this lovely proposal. She finally woke up and realised she wanted to be with Ethan, and she managed to persuade Ethan, despite his Huntingtons, that they should be together. And she'd done this outdoor proposal in a candlelit garden. She had all these sort of lights twinkling away, and because Ethan's a big Doctor Who fan, there was a life-size Dalek there. It was very lovely, Hannah. It was absolutely gorgeous. So this week, it's the wedding. It's the wedding. Yeah, they've got that together very quickly, and we get to actually to see Fenisha's parents. They are there looking after little Bodhi. So Bodhi is going to be there. And that's their role for the day, to look after the little Bodhi. And of course, the whole of the ED and the paramedics there, because Ethan's ED and Fenisha's a paramedic. So it is going to be a lovely, lovely do, and we do see them. It's going to be an eco wedding, so they're outside. Fenisha's asked the guests to bring food, so it's not catered. Everyone's brought a dish, which is really, really nice. And actually, we see Tina and Jacob. So after last week's thing, they are still a couple. She is still sniping at him, and he is still taking it. But I have to say, she wears a really nice dress, Hannah. Do have a look at it. Absolutely lovely dress. And Fenisha is running late. So for some reason, which it must, who knows why, she decided to make on her wedding day the party favors. I don't know why she decided to make them up in the morning. Yeah, very much so. And she wants to give, which is a nice idea, she wanted to give everyone a tree to plant, a sapling, a very small thing in a paper cup. So she's desperately making these up in the paramedics station over at the hospital. Ethan is at the wedding venue greeting the guests, etc. And then in the end, Fenisha just runs out of time. She goes, she calls a cab, she puts her wedding dress on, and she's about to go to the wedding, and the cab company calls and says, "I'm sorry, the cab can't come. You'll have to get there some other way." And she throws a hissy fit. She goes into the ED and just shouts, "Can someone take me to the wedding,
My
please?
wedding. Can someone take me to my wedding?" Oh, no, don't tell me that you're not going to get there in time.
Well, you see, it's a two-parter. So Matthew, her ex, the one she stood up at the altar, is the only one free, and he offers to take her.
Oh.
So
even when she does get there, you can just imagine Ethan's waiting outside. Oh, no, it's just going to be drama, massive drama.
So, yes, we have to ask, will she get there in time? Because because it's a two-parter, that's where we've left it at the moment. And running concurrently is Lev's storyline. So we saw Lev's dad, Anton, played by Alexei Sayle again. He's staying with Lev and Faith, and he's just being very, very bullish and very old-fashioned and not very nice, really. And he's very old school in how boys should be brought up, and he's horrified when his grandson Luca dresses up in a princess dress. He hasn't sort of moved on when boys can express their creativity in any way they wish to, and he's really rude to Luca, and Lev has a row with him, and they have a big confrontation, and Lev finally admits to his dad that he's gay. So this is a seminal moment for Lev. I mean, he's admitted it to himself and to his wife Faith, and now he's told his dad, and his dad sadly is horrified.
Well, given his reaction over the other stuff, you can see that he's not going to take this well.
Yes. So Lev then calls his ex-boyfriend Xander, and they decide to go to the police station together and to tell the police exactly what went on with Sam, the homophobic abuse, verbal abuse that they both suffered. So finally he's standing up for himself, and he's saying exactly what went on. So Xander is there, but he's gone with him, but will Lev and Xander actually rekindle their relationship? As I say, it's a two-parter, so we're on two cliffhangers. Will Fenisha make it to the wedding, and will Lev and Xander get back together?
Dun, dun, dun. is a great cliffhanger. You must tune in. I'm going to be tuning in, definitely. Thank you, Claire. Well, that is Casualty and Holby wrapped up for another week. We will be back next week, and we can be talking about those cliffhangers and whether you saw what you wanted to see or whether it was a big letdown. I don't think it will be the latter. See you next week.